Okay, kiddos, I'm going to show you a little preview of what you're supposed to be learning next week. I'm only going to do probably about 2 problems just for some people that want to get ahead, but I am still going to do a live Zoom on Tuesday at 1:15 like I did last week. So I'm going to share my screen with you once again like I did last week. Where'd it go? It was here just a second ago. Hold on. I'm going to share my screen with you and just show you 2 example problems um, of how this week's gonna go. So for this week, it's not really connected to last week. We can connect it, but we're probably not going to. But this week's objective is simplifying radicals. And let me explain what a radical is really quick. Okay, so simplifying radicals. So everybody knows some of the like the perfect square roots, like the square root of 64 is 8 or -8 because 8 times 8 is 64. The square root of 49 is 7. Square root of 100 equals 10. Yes, it can also be -10, but that's not really the lesson here. But when we simplify radicals, it's because it's not a perfect square. The radical is this thing right there. That's the radical. And we're going to be simplifying them using no decimals. What we want to do is we want to kind of break it down to see how we can write it without decimals. So I'm just going to go right into it. I'm going to do 2 example problems, maybe 3. I don't want it to be too long. Okay, so the first one is square root of 75. If you notice, it's not a perfect square, of course. It's pretty close to square root of 81, but it's not a perfect square. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make a factor tree so you can break it down to its prime factorization. So 75, what times what is 75? You have to think for a second. 25 times 3. So when you get a prime number like 3, circle it so you can keep track of it. We do not break down to ones. Remember, we do not break it down because some people, they want to go, oh, 3 times 1. No, we do not do that. We stop when we get to that point to where it's only a 1 left, okay? However, 25, we can break that down to 5 times 5. And then circle the 5s because the only thing we can do next is 1 times 5. So when you get those prime factors, however many there are, what's going to happen is I'm going to show you a trick to simplifying it. So this boat right here is the radical boat, okay? So I got a 5, and I have a 3. And the 5, and the 3 are all on the boat. And the thing is, the trick is that we're going to take 2 numbers at a time, and the numbers have to be the same exact number. 5 times 5 and 5. So we're going to take 5 and 5, and the numbers want to swim to the island over here. However, what happens, one number actually gets to the island, which would be the 5, but the other 5 got ate by a shark. So this 5 is gone. However, this 5 over here survived and got to the island. Now notice that there is this 3 right here. He is still in the boat. He cannot take a swim to the island because he does not have a partner. Remember, you have to have a partner of the same number. So this 3 just basically stays inside of the radical or inside the boat. So our simplified answer is 5 square root of 3. 5 square root of 3 right here, that's our simplified radical. So the answer will be 5 square root of 3. So let's try it again, because I know I wanted to show you the boat trick and what happens. So let's try it again with a different number. All right. So now let's go ahead and try the square root of 24. Okay. So square root of 24, think what times what is 24? Now you could start it off several different ways. You can start it off as 8 times 3. Or you can even start it off as 6 times 4. It doesn't matter. You're still going to end up with the same prime factors. I'll show you that in a second. So we got a 3 because we cannot break down to the ones. We don't want any ones going to the boat. And from 8, we know that's going to be what times what is 8? 2 times 4. Now that we have a 2, we need to circle the prime factors. 2 circled, but the 4, we break that down to a 2 times 2. Circle those 2s because those 2s are prime factors, meaning that it cannot break down any further unless we use a 1, and we're not using 1s. So notice what we have. We have a 3, so I'm going to put it in the boat. This is the radical boat. I got a 3, and how many 2s? I got 3 2s, all right? So remember the rule. They are going to try to swim to the island. However, it has to be the number, there's only 2 at a time, and you have to be the same number. So which numbers can try to escape? So we got these 2 2s. Get those 2 2s together, or, I mean, it doesn't matter. You could have chosen, oops. You could have chosen these 2 2s because they're the same number, all right? So one of the 2s will get to the island. That's the 2 we write first, but the other 2 got ate by a shark, so it's gone, okay? Now what we have left is we have a 3. Does he have a pair to try to swim to the island with? No. So that 3 must stay inside of the radical. And this 2 does not have a pair. He doesn't have a friend to swim with him to the island either. So that 2 is also stuck inside of the radical. It's stuck inside of the boat, stuck inside the radical. So this answer would be 2 square root of, we got to multiply these 2 things back together, and it will be 6. 2 square root of 6 will be the answer. So I'm hoping that maybe you're kind of catching on to the rules. The rules is 2 at a time, same number. 1 actually gets outside of the radical, 1 gets eaten by the shark. If you still need some help, I will do one more, but you might be able to look at, let me tell you, if you want to go to YouTube and try to look up like a different method, because there's so many different methods to do this, you can. I don't want you to get mixed up though. So if you want to go to YouTube, just type in simplify radicals and look for something that says easy or quick steps to simplify radicals. Look for something like that. I will also send you, I hope I have a video of what I did last year also, but I do want to do one more example with you just so you can try to catch on. Some of you might be getting the hang of it now, so you can just get yourself a pencil and a paper, because the problems for the quiz this week, you will have to kind of work it out on your paper. It's not going to be as easy as just finding the answer that quickly, okay? So the next one I will do is I will do square root of 80. Now there's several different ways to break down the 80. It doesn't matter how you start, we'll all end up with the same prime numbers that go inside of the boat, all right? So let's start breaking down the 80. What times what is 80? I'm gonna start off with 8 times 10. Now both of these can be breaking down. both of these can be broken down. For 10, I'm gonna use 5 times 2. Because remember, we're not using 1s. So the 2 is a prime and the 5 is a prime. We're done with those. Circle them so you don't lose track, please. Because if you don't circle them, you might lose track of them and then they won't get in the boat. Now the 8 will be 4 times 2. 2 is a prime number, let's keep it. And then for the 4, we got 2 times 2. So all of the numbers that got circled need to go in the boat, and I usually order them together. Notice there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm doing a video right now. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 4 2s, and then a 5, all right? So now that I have all my prime numbers in my boat, I'm going to start pairing them up. These 2 2s, remember, has to be the same number and only 2 at a time. One of them will swim to get to the island. So that's the one I write on the outside of the radical. However, the other 2 got ate by a shark. He's gone, sorry. Now these 2 2s got together. Let me use a different color. Now these 2 2s get together. One swims and makes it to the island. So we write another 2 on the outside of the radical. And then this other 2 swam and got ate by a shark, okay? Now don't forget, we still have this 5 back here. Can the 5 get to the island? No. He must stay in the radical or in the boat because he does not have a partner to go with him. Now this answer, since we have 2 2s on the outside, we got to multiply those back together. That will become a 4 square root of 5 would be left inside of the boat. So the simplified form is 4 square root of 5, all right? This is just a preview. I'm still gonna do a Zoom call on Tuesday at 1:15, and this will be Tuesday of next week. Let me see what date that is. It's gonna be on Tuesday the 21st at 1:15. I'll still go over some more examples and some more, just a little bit more detail if you need it. But that's gonna be it for this share, and I really hope you guys can use this video to help you. All right, see ya.